And now, one day after Nate Robinson's epic performance, 10 stitches and all in the Bulls' upset win over the Heat, let's welcome to the show ESPNChicago.com reporter and ESPN Radio 1000 host Sarah Spain. Thanks for coming on, Sarah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, now tell us the truth. Do you think the Heat are at all concerned about Nate Robinson for the rest of the series, or are they just going to stretch their legs and hold serve?
Well, if they're not concerned, then they're idiots. I mean, he's scoring more points than anyone else in the league in the postseason, more points and assists than anyone else. He's shooting 50% from the floor for the postseason. He's a plus 28 in clutch time. I mean, he lives for the fourth quarter. So if they're not worried about him, then they're clearly mistaken, because without being Derrick Rose and not being as talented as Derrick Rose, he's essentially doing what Derrick Rose does for the Bulls.
After the game, Joakim Noah defended his teammate Derrick Rose from all the criticism coming from fans and media from his return from his ACL injury. Take a listen to what Noah had to say.
Derrick's a brother, and to see him go through this, it's tough, you know, but at the end of the day, to me, it's really funny how quick people are to judge, but people don't know what it's like to lead a team, especially after you tore your ACL. If you tore your ACL and you have to, you know, be the starting point guard and have the expectations that Derrick has, then maybe you can judge, you know. But everybody who hasn't been in that situation before should really shut up, because I feel like it's so unfair to him and to this team. You know, we're fighting and everybody's just, you know, on somebody who's been given so much to this organization. It's crazy to me.
All right, well, of course, Joakim's going to come to the aid of his teammate. But, Sarah, I want you to judge. Go ahead. Give me your take on Derrick Rose's return or lack thereof.
Look, I mean, there are so many ways you can go on this, and I think there's people flip-flopping in between them depending on the day. But for me, I can't stand it when the average Joe tries to play doctor. I really don't care if somebody tore their rotator cuff playing tennis with their mom and they were in the country club tournament 5 months later. I don't care if you blew out your ACL, or Iman Shumpert blew out his ACL the same day and had surgery a week earlier, and look at how great he is. Everybody's different. Every situation's different. And honestly, if Derrick doesn't feel like he's ready, then that's it. That's the only guy that can make that decision. And to me, the only way to doubt that he doesn't want to be out there with his team is to question whether he's getting bad advice from his agent, from Adidas, who's paying him $250+ million, from his brother, who's also his agent and has been by his side, or his manager has been by his side, you know, his whole life. I just think Derrick Rose, everything we've known about him since he came into the league has been do or die, give everything to this team, wants to be out there, super competitive. So to imagine that he could be out there and isn't, and is doing it by choice, just doesn't seem to compute with everything we've seen from him.
Well, Sarah, I figured you would say that because unlike Danny, you're a rational basketball fan. But what is the feeling of most of the people in Chicago? Does he still have the favor that he had when he cried at that press conference, just thinking about coming back for the city?
Yeah, no, absolutely not, unfortunately. You know, Derrick Rose, I think if you had to name a guy in sports that was going to be able to almost do anything and still have the public support, it would be him. You know, hometown boy, MVP, tremendous start, you know, loyal, humble guy. But unfortunately, the weird, you know, way that things unfolded, the silence for so long where all we were getting was tidbits about how he was progressing exactly as expected, and then to all of a sudden do that one interview where he says, well, actually, I might not play this season, and I want to be 120%, and I'm only about 85, so I don't know if it's going to happen. As soon as he said that and people started to question whether or not his brother was in his ear or whether or not Adidas was in his ear, things, unfortunately, have taken a turn from him in Chicago, and especially the meat-headed fans, the same guys who, you know, jump on Jay Cutler when he tears his MCL and they think he should go out there and play one-legged. That's a lot of fans right now, and even a lot of writers and media are starting to jump over to that side and say, hey, Nate Robinson's throwing up on the bench. Lil Deng got a spinal tap and he's tweeting from his hospital bed. Kirk Hinrich got a blood bruise, and you know everybody's falling like flies out there. And Derrick Rose is showing some serious vertical on the bench when he's cheering. So,
well, agree with him or not, I mean, the team himself, the organization, they have mishandled this from a PR standpoint just horrendously. But let's move on. Let's look at LeBron. King James didn't address the media after the game. Do you think he was a little rattled by the loss?
Absolutely. And they actually asked him that specifically, were you rattled? He said, oh, I'm not stunned. I'm not surprised at all. You know, we're playing a good team. But I think they have to be. They've won every single one of the last 44 games except for 3, and 2 of those losses came to the Bulls. He has not done well against Tom Thibodeau-led teams, either whether as a defensive coordinator or as a head coach. And at this point, this is the one of the teams that gets under his skin. I mean, he had 2 points in the first half last night. You can chalk it up to rust, or you can chalk it up to Jimmy Butler being getting out there, not getting a break, and just making things difficult for him. You know, Chris Bosh said in an interview today, like, he finished his media by saying, "I'm sick of answering questions about Joakim Noah." Like, they're just sick of people asking them about this Bulls team and what it is about this Bulls team that shuts them down. And, you know, another win like the one that they had last night, and the Bulls are going to continue to get under their skin like that. And I think LeBron not showing up to do at the podium is such a chump move from the MVP. He goes up to the podium to accept his MVP award a couple hours earlier, and then after he loses, he can't go do it. Not a good look for the MVP in the face of the league.
Well, Sarah, the way that the Bulls get under the Heat's skin is the way that Heat's fans get under the rest of America's skin. Yeah. How horrible have they been this series, and how much do you hate them?
Oh, man, hate's a strong word, guys, but they're up there. You know, when you go to a Heat game and they hand out a card if you're, like, there on time, and it tells you how to cheer and when, and gives you 20% off at the gift store because you showed up on time, that's when you know that people don't deserve the good luck and the good fortune that they have of having, you know, the big three and having a championship team. I mean, maybe if I was born in Miami, I would be a Heat fan, but maybe I would also wear a clubbing dress and stilettos to the game. Who knows? You know, that didn't happen. Fortunately, I was born in Chicago where people actually, you know, care about the heart and soul of a team, and bandwagoners are going to bandwagon. So the good thing about the Heat is most of their fans are too stupid to even get my jokes when I'm making fun of their team, so it makes it easier.
Wow, she's being harsh on my people, Sarah. You know, but
well, of course, you didn't get any of her jokes just now.
No, I did. I'm truly offended by those. But despite that, Sarah, we thank you for coming on, and thanks for coming and dropping the knowledge on us.
Thanks for having me, guys.